You could have look. You could have kept
I got
that.
things to do.
Welcome to Models Talk. Let's talk about it.
Yes, yes, yes. It's raining man. Ha! Hallelujah. It's
Hey,
raining man.
hey,
Hey, amen. Ha ha! I have my first male on in this season of season 4. I want to say hello to Brandon Bentley Gomes. Hi, honey.
hello, darling. How are you? It's
I
nice to
can't
be
tell
back
you. Can
on.
you tell I'm excited?
Absolutely. I mean, I am too, because this is actually, I want to say this is my second time on, but this the first time this season. And so this would kind of be like my anniversary because I think I was on the
Yes,
first episode ever.
yes,
So,
yes,
yeah,
baby. I
yeah.
am so happy to have you.
Likewise, I'm glad to be back on.
Well, great. What have you been up to, Bentley?
Oh, goodness gracious.
You,
I've had
you know you
a,
got to tell it all to me because,
you know, you know.
baby, I want all the backstory in the crack story. Just let me know. Let's talk about it.
I have had so many things go on. I've had so many things go on. So between the rebranding of my company, as you notice at the bottom, it says CEO of Bentley Alexander and BF2. Um, so Bentley Alexander is attributed to my fashion, the fashion side of things. I was just deemed and marked a global fashion expert in the
Woo!
industry. Okay. Also, I want to thank IFA so much because they were a part of that, and I am IFA certified in fashion, fitness, and a plethora of other artistic things.
Yes.
Um, the BF2 brand is being rebranded, so that's super exciting. We're looking for a late fall to early winter launch for that and everything that's going on in the fitness world as
Mhm,
far as that goes. So I'm super excited. Apparel and a bunch of other stuff to look forward to, as well as
mhm.
the website. But my goodness, we didn't have the chance to chop it up about France. So I had the opportunity as the executive assistant of Latrice Luttrell, owner of Schubert Magazine and Front Row Luxury Events, to personally assist, style, model, direct, runway coach, and coordinate.
Wait,
Um,
wait,
for,
wait, wait, wait. See, wait. Time out. Baby,
yeah,
you got all those accolades in one shot, one
yes.
opportunity.
It was amazing. It was amazing. I was able to operate in my full-on fashion entrepreneurial field and just do everything that I've ever done. The only thing I didn't do was, I think, hair, and I had to do touch-ups on hair and makeup as well.
Mhm.
So, I mean, it was really exciting. I've been doing makeup for over 19 years. Hair, I have been
Wow.
doing for like 12. Fashion I've been in for close to 10 years now, and just everything else. So it was super exciting to just see everything I've leveled up to come to a full harvest in one
Mhm,
space, and
mhm.
be able to cultivate that space. That
You
happened
definitely
out in South
planted those
France.
seeds, brother. You definitely planted those seeds. And I am so proud of you.
Thank you.
I have
Thank you.
watched your rise, baby. And baby, you have been doing the damn thing. Yes. I am so happy for you. Or should we go like this?
I mean, either one works for me because I'm a snap and a click.
Okay. Me and you. Well, Brandon, can you tell me about your experience as a model over there in France versus being here? What's the difference?
That is a phenomenal question. That is a phenomenal question. There's a huge difference. I think that a lot of the industry standards still exist over in Europe and
Mhm.
in the Eastern countries. And I've noticed that while uh, it doesn't seem as important for certain structures, it is absolutely necessary. And it is a part of something that I'm working on right now alongside Latrice, and that is to cultivate a better space of experience and understanding. I won't go too far into it as it's being made into the works. However, um yeah, the structure, the timelines, everything is so almost set on, it may be
Mhm.
plus or minus 5 to 15 minutes, as opposed to a fashion show in the US that could have you there as a model at 1 p.m. to do your dress rehearsal on the day of day of show, and you sit there for 4 to 7 hours before the show even gets started. You know what I'm saying? Which is
Mhm.
something that has been experienced both recently and in the past. And I don't think people understand, like, we hear all the time, oh well, y'all are models, you understand, you'll do. No, we don't understand. We don't understand why, if the show says that it's supposed to start at 7 o'clock, it's not starting till almost 10 o'clock.
Right.
That is a major difference in the industries out there. They have a lot of people set in place, from front of house to backstage to behind the scenes to the hair, the makeup. There's a lot more coordination.
Mhm.
Um, that's involved in the organization and making sure that the show is as successful as it can be. Granted, the stress still exists by certain regards, but I think having that timeliness and that organization and the communication, you saw people with walkie talkies,
Mhm.
backstages talking to front of house, all of these things made a huge difference in the cultivation of even just, front row luxury events, fashion show that just passed September 13th
Mhm.
in Nice, France, at the Côte d'Azur, that we hosted at Chateau de Belay. It was completely different. Me being on staff and being one of the lead coordinators, partnered with Haley, partnering with Sophie and a couple other people. We made sure that our designers and the actual show host and producer Latrice didn't have to want or do for much.
Right.
That I my goal and objective with her as her assistant was to keep her away from the backstage
Mhm.
as much as possible. The only thing I wanted her to do was to be there, be the performer, and be the producer of the show and host. Go engage with the community of people that have come to see such an amazing event that was so gracefully pulled together. Um, so there's a lot of differences. The models, they have a lot more camaraderie and communion towards each other. Yes, they have all modeled with each other at some point in time, maybe Spain, maybe London or this or that, Germany, Berlin, but the experience with them was even different. Everybody was so much more open, so much more willing and proactive, instead of being reactive to somebody
Woo.
coming up and saying, "Hey, my name is so and so. How are you? You're modeling as well. I'm on." It was completely different. It was, "Hey, Bentley, I know, I saw you, on Instagram. I can't believe you're actually here." Or, "Oh my God, Tamara, she's one of the Vogue signature models who presented for us in this show."
Mhm.
It was great to see that face on the mainframe screen and say, "Hey, Tamara, it's a pleasure to finally meet you. I've been watching you for a while, and we're glad to have you." Both as a personal representation of myself and of the company that I'm attributed to. Um, so it is different. The communion, the camaraderie, the communication, the organization. Those are some heavy hitters, which allowed us as models to have a better understanding of what was going on. And I think that out here there may be a fear of, for the producers or the hosts or whoever is the model coordinators, of giving a different timeline. And we actually prefer that. I would rather have that honesty and transparency given to me. "Hey, I know we said the show was going to start at this time, but we've had a lot of snafus, so it could be anywhere between 2 to 3 hours." That gives us the opportunity to, get some things handled, some odds and ends, be back at a particular time, but still, maintain in place, just, have a lot more freedom and leeway instead of sitting backstage not being able to move.
Yeah, sitting there idle, because that wears you out because of the anxiety
Yes.
that is created.
Yes.
And it's sad that if you're not ready, you got to get ready. You see what I'm
Indeed.
saying? Instead of you're ready and you don't have to get ready because you're
Right.
ready. If you about your business, you're ready. Let's do it. 2 hours up, 2 hours down. Bit bam boom. We should be in and out, and we
Yeah.
don't have to have 50 dress rehearsals or 50
Indeed.
rehearsals
Oh,
to get it done.
indeed.
We don't
Indeed.
have to continuously run across town. We're going to different venues to have different types of rehearsals instead of being at the venue having a rehearsal, knowing what we're going to be walking on. These are things that I see on this side and
Yeah.
saying, even as a seasoned model, I don't like to walk on carpet, and I don't want to be surprised with walking on carpet, but we didn't practice on concrete or a slab
Right.
floor. You see what I'm
Right.
saying? And then all of a sudden we come in and we got carpet squares everywhere.
Yeah. You
No.
know, and it's interesting that you say that, and being a male presenting model that does both, I consider myself to operate in some senses of androgyny, and I am in the LGBTQ plus community.
Amen.
um
Yes.
being somebody,
Represent.
being
Represent.
somebody that is a male presenting, and also is a runway coach in both flats and heels, I do see how that has been an issue, and I have been a part of it. There have been times where I've almost busted tail,
Hmm.
and so I remember a time out in Tampa. This was a couple years ago when I was modeling with BIW. Um, and a couple other designers, Jackie Saldana, House of Danny B, and Dejanay Thorpe, like Dejanay Bianca, excuse me. One of the things that I always made sure of is the placement in which we're rehearsing is modeled and replicated the at the um, I guess you could say dress rehearsals, but I want to cut that real quick, and I want to be specific in what I'm saying. There is a complete difference between a dress rehearsal and then runway rehearsal. The
Absolutely.
two should not always collide. I think that initially during auditions, yes, some designers might be there at the initial audition. They might want to do some fittings to get your measurements on their own, et cetera, et cetera. That's understandable. I personally think that there should only be like three fittings, one prior, or one right after, one in the middle of, and one the day the a week prior. I will say that a week prior,
Hmm.
not the day of the show.
Mm-mm.
Because that there could be weight loss, there could be weight gain, there could be some type of issue with the designer's garment. That gives both the designer and the model the opportunity to. But with these model troops that myself and my partner and best friend Mercedes hosted out there, um we made sure that whatever floor we were going to be walking on, it was replicated in whether it was at the studio or it was at the University of Tampa or University of Florida. Wherever we were at, we made sure, for the most part. There were a couple of snafus where the stage wasn't able to come, and we had to go on the carpet. But the hosts and the producers of the show did everything in their power to make sure that was lessened as much as possible. If there was a stage, we used that
Right.
instead and modified, certain
Hmm.
things like that. So I completely agree. Um, and that is a great difference. That is a great difference between the two. I feel like there's more of a preparedness, and I think that people have a better means of collaboration and coordination out there as
Hmm.
well.
Hmm.
Um, to be engulfed in such a world, in a different world. It was my first time out in South France, and to be enveloped into the community and the family the way I was, to see the outer and inner workings, was phenomenal. There's a lot about the show that we don't get out here, that we don't know, and people feel like it's not our business, and things of that nature. But when it comes down to that show day,
Yes,
if
Lord.
there's something different, like a floor,
Whoo.
that is very imperative to communicate, because that shifts everything to the left or to the right. And as models, we should be prepared. We should have more heels, we should have more shoes. And I will say that if you don't even know what a model bag is, you have a long you have to take a step back, and you got to kind of reassess and
Yeah.
move in a better forward movement and thinking, and get yourself more educated and a lot more experience for those people around you that you actually see with the things that you don't have when you come to these shows. But I
Mhm.
do believe that there is a large difference between, the US, and the other countries across.
Oh, absolutely. And the other thing that I find is, I don't know how it was promoted there versus how it's promoted here. I know that there is a huge skew of
Yeah.
how things are promoted in each country, and depending on where you're modeling, who you're modeling for, who is the producer of the show,
Yeah.
personally, I don't feel like models should have to be the ones pushing the show, even though it is part of self branding, but you're working for the other individual. You're working for the producer of their show. You're working for the designer of their show. To me, they should be the one pushing the show and also supporting you as a model. I don't believe, and it's just my belief, that you see as much support for the models as you do in other countries. What do you think?
I I can agree to an extent because I've had it both ways. But I will say that that what you said in the latter is that is an exemplification of Europe, and the other countries across. They do have a better level of attentiveness to their models, but
Mhm.
the reason why isn't it a big part about it. That is that they have models coming from everywhere. So it's
Mhm.
a little bit different than just having statewide or citywide or countywide or countrywide, fashion show that only though that demographic of people is allowed to. A lot of places, like prime example out here in Atlanta, they're looking for Atlanteans first.
Mhm.
They're not doing a lot of outsourcing. They may not have the budget for it. So there are some things behind the scenes that we really don't know about, or that other people wouldn't know about unless you've had those conversations, rubbed those elbows, and been in the room. But I will say again, it comes down to the coordination and communication, because I've seen um budgets. I've seen rooms be paid for, flights be paid for, meals being paid, be paid for, in a form of per diem, for these other models coming out of country, and even the designers or the stylists or
Right.
the hair.
Right.
There's a completely different means of how they do it, and that's what I was talking about earlier when before I had to make it kind of cut and dry. What I was saying is that allowed for so much less stress and a better show.
Yes.
Um,
Yes, ma'am.
it's there's a level of inclusion there that is paramount to what we get here.
Good word.
You know, um, I think that when it comes to the support side of it, that is absolutely true. And you know what? I just saw something the other day, that was being done in another state, in the U.S., and I absolutely loved it. And I spoke to some of my colleagues, and I said, what happened to this? What happened to after the auditions, the castings went out, and it was a public um casting that was made to say, hey, we did the audition. Here's a little video of a clip of what some of the contestants. Here's the people that actually made it, and then it go to print with not only you seeing the show flyer
Right.
and promotions and stuff like that, but each individual model that made it. That At that point, that gets distributed to the model with the event flyer, and their own personal um promotion for that show that they're
Exactly.
walking in, which instills a larger level of pride
Exactly.
in them, and it makes
It's
them
an
want to
incentive.
work that much more. Absolutely, the
I mean,
incentive is
right.
there, and
Right.
it makes them want to put in that much more work, as
It's an
opposed to
incentive.
saying, hey, you have to come to the audition, you have to travel all the way across here and there, which is a model thing. We have to travel, etc. I
Yes.
understand that. You know what I'm saying? But then thinking and considering things like, well, that's great and all. We've driven all these miles. We may or may not get it. There's no compensation. Okay, cool. Now we did get in. Where is the continued incentive? Okay, so we got in
Exactly.
because we put the work in ourselves, and you saw that in us. You saw the ability for us to put on as your mannequins, which are models, mannequins, for this show, and be a great representation. But I don't have anything to put out there besides the show flyer. How many times is somebody going to look at that show flyer before they say, I don't even want to go anymore? I'm
Exactly.
so tired of seeing it. There's no difference. There's no update. It's just that same flyer. But the difference between the other countries and here, and why just that one flyer would work, even though they have their model promotions out in a GIF. That's a part of their production team. Um, because they want those people to come back, because they want to have, what's it called, what do I call them, not seasonal models, but yes, seasonal models, but they also want to have those signature models, and they
Mhm.
want those models to come back. They want them to be a part of the company or their agency or representation or whatever sort of stuff. They can see the growth and the development for each side, as the model, the producer, the host, the event coordinator, the designer, the jeweler, this and that, so and so forth. And I think that's what differs here heavily. You know, people just feel like, oh, I love fashion. I just want to put on a show.
And that's not possible. That, I mean,
That's
you
it
can't get
is
the
because it
quality.
happens all the time,
But
right?
well,
But
okay.
where is the
Let me say it like
cultivation
you don't
afterward?
have the quality that you need to direct a good
Yeah.
show that way.
and
Okay.
and even if you didn't have the quality and you had the quality people backing you, it makes all the difference.
Yes,
You
it
know,
does.
but you have to be receptive as well. You have to be receptive to constructive criticism. Yes, because you're a fashion designer and you're the show host doesn't mean that me as the model, global fashion expert, runway coach and coordinator, inspiration and motivation around the world, who's trying to stand on a global footprint, doesn't have the means to get you to where you're going. You have
Mhm.
to trust everybody in your team. You have no idea. I have a company based on having no idea who the people were sitting around me and what they were able to mutually
Bring to
cultivate
the
and provide for me
table. Hmm.
and them in retrospect on
Baby,
my
you
end.
said a mouthful right there. You
You
said,
know,
hold on 1 second. You said a mouthful right there because your team carries you. Okay. They hold you up and they hold you to a certain standard
yeah,
all the time. And if
yeah,
they can't do that for you, then you don't need them at your table.
indeed.
Okay. Because that's not bringing flavor to the table that I need.
Yeah.
You see what I'm
Be-
saying? If I can't
because
enjoy the flavors being brought before me, what are you here for?
yeah,
Okay.
yeah.
Derrick lately. Okay.
Because even with BF2, prime example. So
Mm-hmm.
for those of you that don't know, Be Fit Fitness LLC is my fitness company,
Yes, it
and
is.
we do anything from small group to
Hi,
personal
Derrick.
training, etc. Hey, Derek,
Hey, how you doing?
and
How you doing?
good, good. So it's in a rebranding right now,
Mm-hmm.
called BF2. If you go on b-fitfitness.com, you'll see it. You can subscribe to it. And if I did not have the team that I had, and even people around me that have been taking my class, telling me like, hey, I did this for you today. I've been given droplets and blessings from all over the place. One of the girls, Alex, I'll shout her out. She's such a forthgoing and front, you know, running
Mm-hmm.
person in my community, in my posse. She the other day handed me this. Hey, here's your link tree. It's got every
Okay.
single one of your social medias on it. It's got your websites on it. It's got your bio on it. It's got your bio site on it. It's got those things you don't get as and or don't get as much if you are not receptive and trusting of your team. You know what I'm
Okay.
saying? Now, if there's something that needed to be adjusted, I could communicate that effectively, honestly and kindly, so that way we continue to be productive.
We're talking about teams, Derrick, and welcome to the show. I'm so happy to have you, my brother. I know you can only stay a few minutes, so I'm not going to take up too much of your time. Okay? So
Thank you.
good to see you, my beautiful personal trainer. I want y'all to know Derrick lately worked it out with me last year. And I
Thank you.
loved it. I love working out with Derrick, and I have to give you your kudos, my brother, because you're a bad brother. You're awesome, and what you do as an actor, as an entrepreneur, as a trainer, as a model, as a daddy, you do it all, bro.
Thank you. I
You're
thank you,
welcome.
Miss
You're
Z.
welcome. So welcome to Models Talk. We're
Welcome,
talking
welcome,
about
welcome.
having your team around you and what they bring to the table and the flavor they bring. What have you seen when you be sitting down at your table? What kind of team are you looking at?
That's the part of the conversation that I did here. First, thank you guys for having me. I appreciate it.
No
Um,
problem.
Part of what I did here is like you can't. It's trying to do this on your own in any industry. It is tough, man. It is so tough without all the proper resources. It really isn't. I heard a saying that self-made, the self-made millionaires or whatnot. That's not totally honestly true
Mm-hmm.
because Ms. Z, you may have all of the marketing prowess, and I have
Mm-hmm.
zero talent. Ben, you might have all the promoting connections. I don't have those.
Mm-hmm.
But when I link with you, we've now put things in position that, okay, Ms. Z, you got with Ben. Ben's a promoter. I can market Derrick in a certain type of way. Ben, with you, you're promoting what type of aspects that I have, and I'm able to bring the talent to each of those respective types of positions. So it's not a self-made situation. When I sit down at a table, regardless if I'm CEO or
Mm-hmm.
president or whatnot, we're still a team,
Right.
right? You can't progress anything forward without that. There's not. I don't know. I don't have that particular type of knowledge that per se Ms. Z would have or per se what Ben would have. But I'm gonna sit down and make sure that I surround myself with the elite positions
Absolutely.
that y'all have to be able to, perpetuate it. So a team is so vital, so important to the success of what most people have in different industries today.
Mm-hmm.
And I
Mm-hmm.
mean,
You're
it goes into the old saying of it takes a village, and it really does. It
Right.
really does. If you think that you can do it all on your own and you're not stressed and haven't seen, excuse my language, death a few times,
okay.
I want to know the secret
Okay.
because everybody else, like I said, not knowing who I had around me, I was stifling myself by
Mm-hmm.
not. But by trying to do it myself and get everything done, and then I'm stressed out, and then this person is like, "Hey, I'm a commercial realtor. Hey, I can do advertisements. Hey, I'm a promoter. Hey, I'm a PR. Hey, I'm a paralegal.
Right.
Right.
What? All
Exactly.
right, so let's have a talk. Let's
Right.
talk. And from that point on, it made life a lot easier. No, I'm not with an agency at this point in time in my life.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not considering it at all. I would love to have a further representation to continue to brand me and cultivate me in the way that it should. But I think that is a huge part of it. Not being around those like-minded people, or even people who are forward-minded from where you're at and can elevate you and advance you. Um, Set you apart, because then you think you're in these great spaces and you're rubbing with the right people, but you haven't really done your research on them. You don't have any background on them, or you may have it all and decide to go in blindly. Where is the cultivation?
Right.
What 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 shows, how many shows have you seen or been a part of that you were in a magazine afterwards, that you got,
Baby
that you
said.
got published and you were on a billboard, that you got a booking from a European or a Latin or an Asian or any other Eastern country that
Mm-hmm.
said, I saw you walk across that US stage, come on over. Unless it's New York Fashion Week or LA Fashion Week or DC Fashion Week. And even then, the pickings are slim if you don't push, 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 push to the bare, whittled fingertips and toenails to even be remotely seen. So that
Absolutely.
team is everything.
Right.
Well,
Right.
how do you feel about what's going on in the transitions that are going on in the industry now, especially as a male? You're seeing y'all really are overshadowed by females.
Right.
Overshadowed. And I'll say that,
Yeah.
and that's not fair, you
I
know. But things are changing for brothers out there. What do you see there?
I think largely to the notion that society paints male modeling in a way to where it's more fit for style or culture of men,
Mm-hmm.
and that's not totally true. I work with males from all walks, all colors, all professional positions, and a lot of times it's because of that stigma that you don't see many male models. You may see male models in like videos or things of that nature. Now that's a level that exists, or more so editorial. But when it comes to runway, it's different. You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm.
It's the perspective that people get out of that. I know for me that I know you alluded to being able to be picked out to go to LA, to London, to do these things. And if that's not what you're doing it for, other than the love of it, then why not? You know what I'm saying? Then what are you doing? You know what I mean? Like as a coach, as a talent, and then as a model myself, when I started looking into the industry, it was more so about, oh man, I think that this is good because I think this goes along with me, who I am, and the development of my character, or for people to kind of see exactly what I do as an
Mm-hmm.
extension of what it is. Kind of more so like having that own promoter that we talked about earlier, like without the agent, without this exposing myself in different genres where multiple people can see it, where different eyes can see what that is, and then hope, pray for the best in that situation. Um, but yes, I think that that's the case because some people don't. When you look at male modeling, especially from a runway's perspective, people just think that you got to wear these certain type of funny clothes or have
Yeah.
this type of stuff like that,
Yeah, you get
and
scared.
really, right, and it gets a different perspective. But unless you try it and see what it's like, then
You
you're gonna
don't.
always have that outside viewership.
Yeah, you don't really know, and we don't know about you brothers unless we talk to y'all.
And
Right.
that's a fact.
And a lot of people, a lot of sisters, a lot of models, female models, just don't talk to the brothers. Don't talk. I don't mean just black men. I'm talking about talking to the brothers. Period. Any male figure whatsoever. They too busy and worried about and being catty and and worried about self and self image. You know what I'm saying? But what if they get paired up on the runway with somebody?
Right.
Right.
It's better to have a rapport with someone
Yes.
than not to.
Right.
Yes.
And that's why I find it so difficult for me to look at sisters and they pair up with somebody. It's always a little flirt, or I'm like, baby, aren't you a professional? You know, don't you know how to work with a male partner, not just female partners? Did you say hi to the brother behind the scenes when, I mean, when you got your model robe on?
Right.
How about that?
Right.
Right.
When you got your model robe on and walk up to a brother and say, hey, do you need some help doing something? What can I help you do? Y'all constantly zipping us up and strapping us up and, putting the earring in for us. I know. I've been back there.
Right.
You're not
I,
just the help. You know
I
what I'm
think this.
saying?
I think that's kind of like all these things that when you're working with people, like when you're working on a project together, when you're building a team with people, like breaking the ice, right? Breaking the ice and getting used to one another and say, hey man, this is how I know independently I work this way, but if we're trying to co-op and work as a team, then I'd like to hear your ideas. I like to see what and if I can master that with you and we make this a masterful type of partnership, then it's magic on the runway or in the workforce or wherever industry that you're associating that partnership with, Ms. Z, like you were saying, like alluding to it. Just I know that when I am working with any female models, I ask their comfortability. You know what I
Mhm.
mean? Or what are you comfortable with? Like what style? Are you strongest on your right? Are you strongest on your left? Those are different things that backstage before you even get walked with a person, if you're
Exactly.
not paired automatically with a person, that you just find, within them to kind of, make what you guys do on the runway that much more precise and that much more eye goggling for the photo, for that final shoot, because the money shot is where it's at. But when you're walking together, it's important.
Yeah, absolutely. And then, the other thing is the stigma of males walking together. What the hell is that, y'all? Help
Yeah.
me. What is that? I mean, people out
You
in the
know,
audience be talking crap,
Point.
for no reason whatsoever. Not everybody's gay. I mean, everybody ain't gay. You don't say that about the sisters walking together, so why you gotta say about the brothers?
indeed,
Help me.
indeed.
Help me,
I have something to say about that.
please.
It is definitely the human mind and experience. And I don't know if you heard me, but I didn't say experience. I said inexperience
Hmm.
because if you know fashion, the history, and the culture that was built upon that history, it
Mhm.
is not taboo at all.
Right.
But it has been so heavily um
Inundated.
projected
Hmm.
and produced in a manner that makes even just something as simple as two men walking down the runway and being as fly or as straight or as gay or as what trans, whatever it is possible, and being that representation of the clothes. We are the mannequin to the fashion,
Hmm.
point blank period. And I think that that is something that has been standard heavily skewed, and that has been a huge problem. Going along with Derek, what Derek is saying, there's these archetypes of and stereotypes of what a male model is and isn't supposed to be a part of, what they are and aren't supposed to look like. I can tell you right now, I have done things in my career that completely broke the mold, and I don't care if it had 4 likes.
Hmm.
There are fashion moguls that have contacted myself and some of my, my team, my boss, Latrice, and said, I can't wait to meet him
Exactly.
because of the pioneering mindset that I've created for myself, continuously wanting to break that mold, and not every moment being a statement piece of I'm black or I'm gay or I am just a model
Hmm.
who loves fashion, hence the global scale to which my title now holds. I understand the history behind it. I know where makeup came from. I know where heels came from, clogs, whatever you want to call them and consider them, dresses, skirts, all of that stuff. This is stuff
Exactly.
that for our culture is still a part of our roots in the African cultures and in the Caribbean cultures and in the you see it everywhere. You can go
Say it,
into
baby.
Jamaica right now and you'll see a man in a full grass skirt and hat, and you wouldn't even know it wasn't a real tree until he got up and started moving.
Okay.
You know what I'm saying? You can go over to Africa and you can see men with jewelry and garments and garbs all along their neck and their shoulders, their wrists, their ears, their hands. They might have their own makeshift
On
heels
their
and things of that
ankles.
nature.
On
You
their
know,
ankles,
in
baby.
the Asian cultures, let me see, the smaller islands, the Philippines and stuff like that, they're heavily ingrained in the culture, and they don't care what their child looks like. Some of them might be outcast, but majority of that culture loves the fact that they're people, that they are alive, that they're willing and that they're able to express themselves outwardly from a younger age to develop into whatever it is that they want to be. And a lot of those individuals hit the main stages, Miss America and Miss Philippines or Miss this or Mr. that, and so on and so forth. They're not looking at it from a homosexual or a heterosexual standpoint. They're not looking at it from a feminine or a masculine standpoint. They're looking at it as this is a real life humanistic thing that people of all walks of life get involved in. And it's unfortunate because I have gotten looks walking with, say for instance, me and Derek was walking together. Well, they know us through fitness, but they don't know our personal relationship. We've walked on the stage before. You know what I'm saying? um but that doesn't mean we're walking down the stage hand in hand either. Like, what is it's you know what I'm saying? It's the
Yeah.
mindset. And as you said, you see it all the time where women are going down two, three, four, five,
Yeah.
six of them in a row at the same time, doing different figurations and stuff like that. And you only have certain male fashion shows that are only male, targeted towards us being able to do the same thing.
Right. Yes, that's a good point, man. Like you hit everything on right on the head. Like if you go around the world, you look at fashion, and then who's rocking the fashion around the world,
Yeah.
it's not like what most of the states may find may find like appropriate. It's they look at fashion in a whole nother light. And it's like, all right, well, look, we like your build and this look. We want to put this on you. We like how your walk style is, and how it's fitting of what we have, and it's just one of those things that people just don't find themselves being accustomed to when they're seeing that. So it's definitely something that it is taboo. That was a great way. That's a great word to use. It is like it's taboo, man. But most people don't associate it with
Yeah.
understanding high values of fashion, even high fashion. Like when you do high fashion, you're
Indeed.
doing is not like what most people might feel like as a urban style. High fashion is exactly exactly as you had placed it. That's the division of it. We see you,
Okay.
Ms. Lee. How you doing?
Okay.
We see you.
Okay. I'm just making sure you can still see me.
Yes, man. We see you.
I'm so
But yeah,
sorry. I have my phone on Do Not Disturb and it's still disturbing me.
That's okay.
I'm sorry. I try, y'all.
Hey, that's all we ever asked for, and we're just glad that you've allowed us to be on this platform to speak our voices, especially being both men at this point in time, because
It's
I
raining man
that's
tonight, baby. I've been so excited about this show. Y'all know I've been excited about this show all week.
right.
Yeah, I was super excited, especially, just to come back for the first time after the first time. So, and then to have two guys on to really be able to speak on some stuff, both professionally and personally, because I
Yeah.
think that that's the other side of fashion, and whether it's modeling, or any art, any entertainment industry, any media, we're both singers, we're both models, we're both actors, we're both stage, plays, and it's in the list goes on. In each and every one of those places, I think there's a personal humanistic emotion that gets removed from us as the performers. They don't
Hmm.
think that we, or it's not looked at as we are as emotional, as sensitive, or even remotely, if you're
Because you're
neither of
not
those,
supposed
have
to be.
feelings at all, because we're men. You know what I'm
Right. You're
saying?
not
and
supposed to
and
have those feelings.
and
That's
I've
what
had certain
society
things
says.
hurt my feelings, and it's
I know
like,
that's right. I
how
get
is it
hurt feelings
different?
for y'all.
Yeah, how is it different from Lisa to Bentley? I don't. We're both models, and that's all I ever hear, and that's what rings through my mind. We're both models, and so, you know I've been excluded from certain dressing rooms and things of that nature. One, because I was a male, and then two, because I was LGBTQ plus, and people weren't comfortable with that. And I'm like, well, wait a minute, aren't y'all fashion industry professionals? That was a rhetorical question, because having to
Yes.
say ask that question told me enough. You know what I'm
Hmm.
saying? Y'all are not on the same tipping scale as I might be, and that's okay. But it's the reception and the absorbance that, if you're not willing to intake and allow into your life, that is what keeps these boundaries and these mindsets in place. You
Okay, Derek. Speaking on that, how can we help that change for someone like Bentley?
I think when people start accepting and understanding that you can work equally in those grounds and not have lines blurred, I think that
Hmm.
that's what you'll see. In some industries it doesn't even matter. Like some industries they're like, nah, look, well, this is what's going on, or like in sometimes where, excuse me, where you might look at a certain type of casting and
Hmm.
they are looking for these particular types of roles to be filled with
Hmm.
this particular type of presentation of who a person may be. That doesn't negate me watching the film or watching this person do their art. It's
Hmm.
if it's accepted through you. And I think that Ben had a good point. It's like the mentality of the matter, on everything. You know what I mean? Like the approach of everything. There's certain lifestyles or certain types of identities that people just they don't like to fuse with because they don't think it's good for their audience. And that's one thing too. You have to look at it from a grand scale, from a lot of things, right? When it comes to those types of things, when you're breaking barriers and things like that, then it may cause for you to have to go a little bit off script, and then being okay with
Yeah.
what's going on with that. So I think what
Well,
most times,
I find it interesting when you say go off script because I go off script all the time. I don't give a damn. Okay, that means I'll
right,
snatch some hair off in the middle of a runway in a minute. Okay, I'll let you know that I am that seasoned model in a minute, and I'll let you know I can still drop it like it's hot, get down in Z pose, and do what I do, come
yeah,
back up, and not be aching just
right,
because I'm 60 years old.
right,
You know what I'm saying? And I
right,
just turned 60, and
yeah, beautiful,
all the models work up. They do. They work from the waist up. They
yeah,
don't even work with their legs and feet. They
no, you're
work from
right,
the waist up, and that's about it. I decided to work waist down years ago.
long
Years
time
ago.
ago, right,
When I first came back into the industry, I said, "Oh well, everybody's doing everything up top and all this leaning and posing and arms going everywhere." Well, Miss
yeah,
Z decided to do something totally different and
right,
drop down when I'm in urban gear. Now I
yes,
cannot do that in a formal.
correct.
You know what I'm
And
saying?
most people, right. Most people understanding that they, like you said, like that's what you have to look at. Is that when people, we were just mentioning that high fashion couture, that's a little different. You got to keep it
Yeah,
Paris all
absolutely.
the way. But when you're a little bit more swimwear, a little bit more, urban,
Mhm.
little eclectic. You have some fun, man. Just really rock that personality like that.
Yeah, absolutely. But
Yeah.
also you would look at models that are seasoned models, such as myself, that have been in the game a very long time, longer than you are old, Derek. Okay. But seasoned models, and we have a whole different perspective on what's good, bad, ugly, or indifferent in the
Right.
industry right now.
Right.
And we're being sought after more and more and more and more and more, and especially not only seasoned models, ball sisters are being sought after,
Yeah.
sisters of color being
Right.
sought after, and it's about damn time because we have something to say.
That's true.
You
Right.
know,
And
we
that's true.
still have
Totally.
something to contribute to the game, and we can bring a whole plethora of wisdom to the game still.
Hmm.
And what I don't understand is people that don't want to sit down at the table and enjoy what's being brought before them. That's
Right.
hard for me, because it's hard for me not to be a stage sister or a stage mom to models and things like that. And
Right.
as you know, we've worked together plenty of time.
Plenty
I
of time.
come with everything.
Right.
I
No.
come with it all.
No.
You
Most
know,
definitely. Yes, man. Right. Right. And
and
and then
so
having that experience.
I consider myself a consummate model. I make sure that we have a beautiful show. It may
Yeah.
not be my job, as I was told by DC. It's not my job, but I'm not gonna do no ugly show, Dad. Hey, Daddy,
Nah.
know you
I
are.
back y'all. It looks like Zahara's not the only hot commodity, child. Yeah.
No, there you
They
go.
I'm
nasty.
through with you.
We
Shut
love it.
up.
We love it. Well, listen, this has been amazing, guys. We
I
have to
know
have
you got
more
to
of
go,
these. You're
baby.
right. You're right. Yeah, we have to. Right. Right. We have to have more of these where there's a lot more exposure, like what we were talking about being. I think that's the more of these that we have, the more I think that people will kind of get a broader perspective. Because I know talking to you, Miss Z, you would ask me, "Kate, we got to do this. We got to get more male models involved. We got to get this. We got to
Indeed.
get a light on the industry
Yeah,
from a male's perspective, and then the different types of presentations of what we do. You know what I mean? Like,
yeah.
doesn't matter, high fashion,
Will
couture,
you come back?
LGBT, all the anything. Yeah, I know it's the schedule been heating up, man. It really
I
has.
know,
I was
I
like,
know your
geez.
schedule is extremely busy during the fall and winter. I know,
Yeah, most
but
definitely.
I want you to come back and we do our one-on-one.
Yeah,
Okay?
most definitely. We sure will. We
All
definitely
right, you're gonna have to pencil me in here. It's only an hour.
will. Most definitely. And Ben, man, we got to get together again, brother. Like
Yeah,
it's been
man.
amazing, man. We'll definitely
Well,
link in with some things right here, brother. Coming soon.
we got to link and secure that space. Most
Yes,
definitely,
sir.
brother.
Most
I'll
definitely.
talk to you shortly.
You take care.
Absolutely.
Most
Kiss
definitely.
that baby for me, okay?
Yes,
I
ma'am.
love you and I can't wait to see you.
I love you too. We'll see you soon. Y'all take care. Have a
Okay,
good night.
baby.
All
Bye
right,
bye.
Derek. Later.
Bye.
Model love. That's my boy, Derrick BentLi. Now, see, you're a whole different type of trainer. Tell me what kind of fitness trainer you are, my brother.
So I am a personal group fitness and dance fitness trainer and instructor. So of course I focus in on the individual with the personal training, and with the group training I am able to focus on a multitude from small, medium to large groups,
Mhm.
both personally and corporate. I do host corporate events and have collaborated with apartment complexes and other Fortune 500 businesses to for a health and fitness day that they might have been having. Even a school teachers appreciation week. I was able to perform my platform MRNS. It is the meditative reflexology and stretch course that I offer. And they had a phenomenal time. They were at peace. I got some laughs. We even got some gas. So that's how you know they were really relaxed.
Mhm.
You know what I'm saying? And we
Yeah,
love
yeah,
that.
yeah. Because
We
once
had a
the
phenomenal
muscles
time.
relax, everything
Yes,
coming out.
yes, indeed. So it was nice to do that. But I also teach dance fitness, both Zumba and a dance fusion class at EpiFit in Austell over by Six Flags.
Mhm.
So um,
Wonderful.
just working my way through the different avenues to be a part of more of the fitness events and things that go on. I'm actually working on a tour.
Huh.
Yeah.
Wow, baby. Yes, give me some. Yes, sir. Yes, sir.
I
That
keep
is
moving.
fabulous. Yes, that is fabulous. How many cities do you plan to see?
Well, honestly, I plan on doing a 10 city tour.
That's what I
Okay,
thought.
so it'll be
Mhm.
both inside and outside of Georgia. obviously. There's a couple of states that I need to travel back to in just my appreciation, and these are my posse-ridden states. So if anybody knows about BFIT or BF2, I call everybody my posse. My company is based on family orientation, camaraderie, and just community and communion. So the posse is just that. We come together for each other. Like I said, there's so many different people that I didn't even know that I had involved in
Mhm.
the classes that were able to attribute and take me and heighten my business to certain extents and levels. So those are the places I have to get to first. Georgia, it looks like Georgia, Florida, Virginia, even my home state of Rhode Island, which I've never taught in, but there's a posse up there.
Oh,
Chicago, California, Seattle, so Texas. That's where
yes.
that's where before BF2 even became a thing, before BFit Fitness became a thing, it was actually born as the virtual walk, jog, run uh,
Hmm.
conditioning program during the
Wonderful.
heaviest part of COVID. So, yeah, definitely trying to do a 10 city tour and then actually go and continue on my international global footprint and get around the world.
Can you tell us how you became so popular as an influencer?
You know, it's interesting because people look at the word influencer in many different ways. A lot of people look at it as, oh, they are verified and they have a Meta blue check. A lot of other people say, oh, they have over 100K or 1.1 million followers. You could, that could be the truth or it could be bought. You know,
Right.
you could have people buying different viewers or followers and stuff like that, and you could not, and people have actually put in the work and created a space for influence. My influence is different because of who I am, because of being a black uh um pansexual male. You know,
Hmm.
that has broadened my horizons a lot, but it was also through my own tongue and communication and just not being scared of the industry, not worrying about the standard, wanting to be in certain places and say, hey, me next. I want to be in
Hmm.
this. I want to be on that stage. I want to be a part of y'all's production, even doing proposals, etc. So I think for me as an influencer, it is to motivate and inspire around the world, as I will continuously say. I want to be the motivation and inspiration on a global footprint for people much like myself, and even those outside of that and other cultures, and even in the races that are more acceptable and the nationalities and sexualities that are more acceptable.
Hmm.
If you're having these issues, just keep going, keep fighting at it, but look at the value of the things that you're including yourself in,
Yes.
and
Yes, baby.
remember the resources you have around you. So here's what happens, right? We get into the industry, we meet all these fashion designers, these show hosts, these producers, the backstage, the front of house, the front stage, the managers, the stage workers, the directors, the coordinators, the other models, the stylists, the hairstyle, all of the people that are involved in these projects to make fashion a thing. And then the only other time we see them or hear from them is if we're on social media
Right.
or we bump into them at a show.
You're
But
so
what
right.
happens to
Look,
the in between times?
baby,
Where's the cultivation?
I hate to say this, but you know what? Our hour has gone by. Can you believe that?
It has, at a great
Baby,
time.
you have been fabulous. I
Thank
want to
you.
say thank you, BentLi. I look forward to working with you again. I love you. I love your energy. Thank you for believing in me. Same to you, my brother. I can't do it right. I never can do it right. I feel
Oh, look, I got the
out.
heart. Yeah!
Okay, good job. I can't do it right. I can, but I try. Thank you so much. And you're going to have to come back too, because you have a lot of endeavors going on. And I can't wait to hear what you got to say.
Absolutely. I want to thank you so much for allowing me back on. And I do want to say really quickly, for anybody that is interested in international travel and wants to either be a part or just take part in the experience, Front Row Luxury Events on Instagram. We have Versailles, Valentine's in Versailles. Okay, that is going to be a wonderful event. And then we're also hosting our annual event towards September. So stay tuned, because there's things in between. I will be in and out of the country for the next every other 2 months. So just stay tuned, and thank you so much, Zahara.
Oh,
Zahara
you're
is
welcome.
that girl. I don't care what nobody says. We love her energy, her personality, her light, and her boldness, and her ability to bring things to the forefront for the things that we need to speak about. I love you. Ah!
Love you. Mom, you take care, baby. Be safe.